YouTube channel NCERT E-Teaching Decoding NCERT. I am Dr. Kailash Mina, going to explain genetic disorders, Mendelian disorders from class 12th biology, chapter 5, principles of inheritance and variation. Now, in my previous video connected with this topic was mutation and pedigree analysis. We learned that how mutation can cause disorders and how mutation may cause disorders at the point in the sequence of DNA and finally in the sequence of proteins. And we also learned that the amount of DNA in terms of chromosomes may be changed, and then also we call this type of abnormality as chromosomal aberrations or chromosomal mutations. And we also learned how to read pedigree charts and how to make predictions by looking at these pedigree charts. So here is a small activity for you who have watched my previous video of pedigree analysis and mutation, that you will assume that these charts belongs to autosomal recessive, autosomal dominant, or X-linked recessive or X-linked dominant. And you can also recall the diseases which we have discussed in connection to these pedigrees. Now, after watching this video, you class 12th biology students will learn about most common and prevalent Mendelian disorders, which are taken as it is from NCERT class 12th biology. So these diseases are hemophilia, sickle cell anemia and phenylketonuria. And I am going to give you one another disease side by side with hemophilia, which is color blindness, because it is the inheritance and the patterns are almost similar in both of the diseases. Now let's start our video. So this brief introduction which we already have discussed in my previous video, I am again reading this for you. Broadly, genetic disorders may be grouped into two categories: Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorders. And we learned that in Mendelian disorders we will be dealing with small changes in base sequence of DNA, and in chromosomal disorders we will be dealing in my next video with the change in number of chromosomes, either deletion or addition. Mendelian disorders are mainly determined by the alternation or mutation in the single gene. We learned about mutation in my previous video. What is mutation? A change in the sequence of DNA, and we know that gene is the sequence of or segment of DNA. These disorders are transmitted to the offspring on the same lines as we have studied in the principles of inheritance. It means human inheritance also follows the laws of inheritance as given by Mendel. But yes, the approach of studying human genetics is somewhat different, because we will study pedigree charts. It means recorded history, not by performing any experiments as we have done in the case of pea plant and in Drosophila. Most common and prevalent Mendelian disorders are hemophilia, cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, color blindness, phenylketonuria and thalassemia. It means these disorders are called Mendelian disorders because they include some changes in the sequence of DNA or sequence of gene of these characters. That is why these diseases are called Mendelian disorders. And if any disorder includes addition or deletion of chromosomes, then it will be called chromosomal disorders or chromosomal aberrations. Now, it is important to mention here that such Mendelian disorders may be dominant or recessive. So as I already have discussed in my previous video of pedigree analysis, that we can observe dominant or recessive feature by seeing the skipping of generation or not skipping of generation, because if any character skips the generation, it will be dominant, and if any trait skips the generation, then it will be recessive, and if it do not skipping the generation, then it is dominant. Now, by pedigree analysis only, one can easily understand whether the trait in question is dominant or recessive. So I have given you some tips in my previous video how you can make predictions that some character is dominant or not, or it is recessive or not, or sex linked or not. Now similarly, the trait may also be linked to the sex chromosome as in case of hemophilia. So we are going to learn about hemophilia. Hemophilia is a sex linked character. Why it is a sex linked character? Because the genes responsible for hemophilia are located on the X chromosome. As I already have said in my previous video of sex determination also, that the general prediction that sex chromosomes are only responsible for sex of an individual and autosomes are responsible for physical features of individual is not as simple as that. Many genes responsible for general characters are also located on sex chromosome, and in case the gene for hemophilia is located on X chromosome, and by the same way gene for color blindness is also located on X chromosome. It is evident that X-linked recessive trait shows transmission from carrier female to male progeny. What is carrier and what is not carrier, I have discussed already in my mutation and pedigree analysis video, and while we are studying hemophilia I am going to explain it once again. Now you see here is one real pedigree chart of Queen Victoria, which was famous because of the royal disease hemophilia. Here you can see completely filled squares. You can not notice completely filled red circle. You can only notice either blank circles or half filled circles. So why half filled circles? This thing I have not talked about in my previous video. Why? Because it is not included in our NCERT syllabus. So if you show any half filled circle or half filled square, it shows that female or male is carrier for that character. What do we mean by carrier? It means heterozygous for that character. Or if any character is recessive, it will not express itself in heterozygote. This was the law of dominance which we have learned in Mendelian monohybrid cross. So in your examinations of class 12th board examinations or in NEET examination also, you will not encounter any half filled circles or any dots in circles or squares. So here I am showing you because of the real perspective. So here you can see many generations, and what interesting here is that we can observe only males are affected with hemophilia. Why? Because as I have mentioned in my previous video also, that the inheritance of X chromosome is very interesting, because we males get our X chromosome from mother only. No father inherits its X chromosome to any son. It always inherits its X chromosome to daughter. Now any girl or any daughter in any family may have one of the X chromosome from mother, but it will certainly have the X chromosome from father. It means all things will be carried as it is from X chromosome from father to daughter. So it shows some crisscross type of inheritance. Now, so hemophilia is an X-linked recessive condition which we learnt now till now. That is, the gene locus responsible is on X chromosome. What is locus? The location of any gene. We have learnt in my genetic terminology video, which was the first video of this series. Now, thus a son who inherits a mutant allele, mutant means responsible for disease, on the X chromosome from his mother will have the disease because his Y chromosome does not contain a normal allele. It means a female will show hemophilia phenotype when she is homozygous, because the character for hemophilia is recessive, not dominant. So a female may be homozygous or may be heterozygous, but we males always, if we have hemophilia gene on our X chromosome, we will show that disease, because we have only one X chromosome and another sex chromosome is Y. So this is somewhat different condition, is called not called homozygous or heterozygous, it is called hemizygous. Now, however, a daughter who inherits one mutant allele will be unaffected. It means carrier. Why unaffected? Because she will be heterozygote and this gene is recessive. If you remember the example of capital T and small t and capital T, you may remember that in case of capital T you will see tall phenotype, in case of small t you will see dwarf phenotype, and in case of capital T small t you will observe only tall phenotype because tallness was dominant and dwarfness was recessive. So in the same case here hemophilia is recessive, so you will see hemophilia when any individual carries both of the gene for hemophilia in case of females, because we males cannot have both genes for hemophilia because we only have one X chromosome. Now because until recently few males with the disease lived to reproduce, the most common pattern of inheritance has been from carrier mother to son, and all rare X-linked diseases are much more common in males than females. Why? Because this disease is also called royal disease, because we can see these type of disease only in royal families, because you can easily assume that in hemophilia if some person starts bleeding, it will not be able to, or its body will not be able to produce any blood clot, or it will not be able to stop that bleeding. So it will be a very dangerous situation for any man, and in common situation in an ordinary man cannot avoid any cut or any scratches. So only royal families in previous times can take care of these types of males, and after all when that male adults or reaches a reproductive age, there are chances that it will not survive in normal conditions, and if it survived, that no one wants to marry that type of person because their children may affected by this type of disease. And if that person is royal, from royal family, you can understand that the marriage is that very easy for those type of people. So this is why this type of disease we can locate in this type of family histories, and only males are having disease because females, the carrier females which are not showing phenotype but carries one gene on one X chromosome for hemophilia, without knowing they can marry from any one, and then if their child, male child carries then one X chromosome from its mother, then it will show the phenotype. Because if a normal man marries a female which appears to be normal but have one X chromosome affected with hemophilia, their children will never have hemophilia until unless their male child get that gene from their mother. So I hope you will understand, and if you want to understand this better, you please have this situation in mind: carrier female with hemophilia gene and a normal male. You can plot a Punnett square like we have plotted in Mendelian monohybrid cross, and you can solve this cross by your own by taking different examples, like one example, then another example, and then this example, and you can see various probabilities of hemophilia, and then only you can understand this situation better. Now in this disease, a single why this disease happens? So this disease happens because in class 11th biology, the topic blood circulation, we learned that blood clotting is a very complex mechanism that involves many proteins and a series of events that is called cascade. So in this disease, a single protein that is a part of the cascade of proteins involved in the clotting of blood is affected. So this gene for hemophilia located on X chromosome encodes for a normal protein which plays a part in blood clotting, but if the gene is altered because of Mendelian disorder, because of point mutation, that forms an abnormal protein which is not able to complete the process in the cascade of blood clotting, and that is why our body is not able to produce blood clot and not able to stop the bleeding. So this is how this works, from DNA to proteins, from genotype to phenotype. We will learn more about this in the upcoming chapter, chapter number 6, molecular basis of inheritance. So due to this, in an affected individual, a simple cut will result in non-stop bleeding, as I have already mentioned. The heterozygous female carrier, heterozygous means carrier because female is not showing phenotype of hemophilia, but still she carries the gene for hemophilia in its one X chromosome. For hemophilia may be transmit the disease to sons. The possibility of a female becoming a hemophilic is extremely rare because mother of such female has to be at least carrier and the father should be hemophilic. And in bracket you can also notice that unviable, because this type of male may injure itself in the course of life. So unviable at the later stage of life. So it is highly unlikely that any female will have hemophilia, but not impossible. The female the family pedigree of Queen Victoria shows a number of hemophilic descendants as she was a carrier of the disease. And this is taken as it is from NCERT, but yes, the pedigree was not shown in NCERT, but yes, it was taken the example. So I am including this pedigree for better learning perspective. Now we will move to the next genetic disorder, which is sickle cell anemia. Again, it is an recessive disorder, but yes, it is an autosomal recessive. Why autosomal recessive? Because the genes for sickle cell anemia are located on autosomes. And what happens in this, you can see in this pedigree chart, the tip which I have given you in my previous video, that if the character skips the generation, for example this son and this daughter have the disease, but yes, their parents do not have any disease, so this situation is called skipping of generation. So if any character skips the generation, then this character is called as recessive disorder. And because both males and females are affected, this is autosomal recessive, and the example is sickle cell anemia, and that is also going to happen in case of phenylketonuria, which I will discuss in later slides. So what is sickle cell anemia? Again considering the example of blood circulation, but in hemophilia there was a cascade of proteins which are involved in blood clotting. Here we are talking about RBCs or red blood cells. So why red blood cells appears red? Why blood appears red? Because red blood cells contain a protein hemoglobin, which we have encountered in class 11th also. When we were studying biomolecules, we learned the primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary structures of proteins, and we have taken the example of hemoglobin as quaternary structure of proteins. There were 4 polypeptide chains, 2 were alpha, 2 were beta, and beta polypeptide chain was crucial to hemoglobin function. Now here I wanted to quote this example because red blood cells looks like this, or normal red blood cells looks like this, because they contain a normal hemoglobin, the normal beta chain, normal alpha chain. But if beta chain have some abnormality, then these cells will look like this. You can see the shape of red blood cells looks like a sickle. That is called, this anemia is called sickle cell anemia. And of course, because of this structure, or because of abnormal hemoglobin, these blood cells will not able to carry the normal function, which is transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide in case of blood circulation. So what is that abnormality? That abnormality is very minute. The complete polypeptide chain in the hemoglobin, say beta globin, is only changed in the 6th position. What is the 6th position? So as I have discussed about the sequences in my previous video, mutation. So here you keep in mind that proteins behaves in certain way because of the sequence of amino acids, then that is called primary structure of that protein, and because of the primary structure, proteins acquire secondary and tertiary structures. So that is very crucial for their function. Now this sequence of proteins is because of DNA, as I already have mentioned, and DNA performs these actions by making certain type of RNA molecules. So here is an overview of that process we are going to discuss in the chapter 6. You need not to bother about the process, you need to focus only on one thing, and the one thing is this glutamine at the 6th position. Here it is replaced by valine. So here you notice only one thing, that 6th number position is changed. The amino acid which was on the 6th position in normal hemoglobin gene, which is HbA. In this case HbA, we call this HbA peptide, and if it becomes abnormal, we call this HbS. S means sickle cell anemia. So in HbS hemoglobin there is only one change. What is that one change? I am again repeating, the 6th position acquired by different amino acid because of the change in DNA. Now because of this small change, the entire structure of hemoglobin changes, and the entire structure of red blood cells is changes. So the defect, I am reading these sentences from beginning. This is an autosome linked recessive. We have learned because these the genes for sickle cell anemia are not located on sex chromosome. They are located on autosomes. The disease is controlled by a single pair of allele which is called HBA in normal and HBS for sickle cell anemia. Out of the three possible genotypes, what are the three possible genotypes? See, three possible genotypes. Again, I am taking example of pea plant because we are very much familiar. Homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive, heterozygote. So these are the three possibilities. But here, let's not take example of T. Consider about the HBS, HBS, HBA, HBA, and HBA, HBS. So HBA and HBS will be the heterozygote, the any individual which have different type of alleles, which we have learned in monohybrid cross and in all the genetic crosses. Now, out of the three possible genotypes, only homozygous individuals for HBS show the disease phenotype because it is an recessive character. All three examples are of recessive characters, so it will be easy for you to understand that. So heterozygous individuals appear apparently unaffected by because they carry one normal gene and one gene for sickle cell anemia, but yes, they are carrier. They can pass this gene to the next generation. And what is the defect? I already have mentioned. The defect is caused by the substitution of glutamic acid by valine at the 6th position of the beta globin chain of the hemoglobin molecule. This technicality we have learned in class 11th biology biomolecules, and I am going to explain in the chapter 6 also when we are going to learn about transcription, translation and protein formation. Now, the substitution, it means changing of amino acid in the globin protein results due to the single base substitution at the 6th codon. What is codon? We will learn more about codons, but now for now you can understand the codon is a genetic language from DNA to RNA to protein, and that complete language is called genetic code, and the letters for that language, which are made up of 3 nucleotides, are called codons. We will talk more about codons in our upcoming chapters. So 6 codons of beta globin gene from GAG to GUG, GAG to GUG you can see in the RNA, because we can notice U or uracil only in RNA, not in DNA. So GAG to GUG. The mutant hemoglobin molecule undergoes polymerization under low oxygen tension, causing the change in the shape of RBC from biconcave disc to elongated sickle-like structure. So these features you can see in this slide. Now, finally, the phenylketonuria. Again, phenylketonuria is an autosomal recessive trait because the trait is skipping the generations. In phenylketonuria, it is very interesting because the discovery of phenylketonuria was related to genotype to phenotype. When we understood that Mendelian factors or genes control our features, but in what way? We have no clue. We had no clue about in what way these genes or factors control our features. Now we know that genes control features by making different types of proteins in very simple manner. DNA makes RNA, which makes protein. It means DNA guides the synthesis of many RNA molecules, and those many RNA molecules guide the synthesis of protein molecules, and those protein molecules are workhorses of cells, and they work in certain manner. They become the structure of organism, they become the functions of organism, and finally we got the phenotypes or characters or observable features. So the discovery of this connection between genes and enzymes, or between genes and proteins, is related to phenylketonuria. Archibald Garrod was the scientist. You can search in internet and you will find many interesting facts that he was the pioneer of the work from gene to protein. Now, so previously it was called inborn error of metabolism. So what happens is very simple, that it is related to metabolism of one amino acid which is called tyrosine, and in that metabolism there is many steps. There will be many steps guided by many enzymes, which you have learnt in metabolism part of biomolecules in class 11. Now in those steps, as in hemophilia or as in other any other disease, only one enzyme is going to be abnormal because of phenylketonuria, and because of that abnormal enzyme the body will not able to convert the amino acid phenylalanine into tyrosine. So here you can see this statement. The enzyme was particularly phenylalanine hydroxylase that converts an amino acid which is called phenylalanine into tyrosine. So what you will see, that because of abnormal phenylalanine hydroxylase, which is an enzyme which converts phenylalanine into tyrosine in a sequence of reactions, what we will see that phenylalanine will be accumulated in the body, because if it is converted into tyrosine naturally, tyrosine will be used up in our body in natural conditions. Now, as a result of this, phenylalanine, which is also a different amino acid, is accumulated and converted into phenylpyruvic acid, which is harmful to us. Phenylpyruvic acid and other derivatives. Accumulation of these things in brain can cause mental retardation, and because of these molecules, these individuals which have phenylketonuria have smelly urine, very smelly, like fishy urine. So these errors were identified because of these traits. Now, so because this involved in mental retardation, which is a very serious issue, and we can avoid this mental retardation. Why? Because if we avoid phenylalanine diet, so if we are aware what we are eating, if we are aware what proteins we are eating, which diet provides us phenylalanine, because when we studied digestion in class 11th, we knew that there are certain amino acids which are essential, there are certain amino acids which are non-essential. So phenylalanine we do not need, we need phenylalanine to make tyrosine. So this is the fact that if somebody is diagnosed with phenylketonuria, it can avoid the consequence of phenylketonuria by changing the eating habits and having low phenylalanine diet, because if there will be no phenylalanine, if there is no enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase for converting them, there will be no issue, because there is no phenylalanine, and there will be no issue of converting it in other molecules. Now, so these are the 3 Mendelian disorders discussed in our NCERT textbook. We are going to learn more about chromosomal disorders in our next lecture. But before finishing this lecture, I want to take your attention to again hemophilia, and I want to give one more information, that if you talk about color blindness, everything will be the same, consequence will be the different. So color blindness also have its genes located on X chromosome. The inheritance will be crisscrossed from this type of pattern. Again you can see this type of pattern, more male affected, no females affected, or very rarely females affected, or carrier females. Same pattern. If you have understood the hemophilia, you already have understood the color blindness, but you need the extra information of phenotype. In color blindness, individuals are not able to differentiate between certain type of colors. So here you have idea of many Mendelian disorders. Thank you so much for your patient listening. In our next video, we are going to discuss the chromosomal disorders.